So one of the more challenging things during lockdown has been keeping up my photography habit. As you can imagine, when you're locked down in your home, we've been locked down for just over a month now. Most of what you encounter every day in your home or in your garden becomes quite commonplace. But I must say there's one camera that I just absolutely love shooting with. And yes, it's the iPhone. But that's not the camera I'm going to talk about. I mean, the reason the iPhone works is simply because it has such a great lens, and it does some sort of magic sauce there with the software, and it's always with you, you know. So it's really an amazing camera, and it captures all sorts of things, you know. In portrait mode, you can get these most beautiful portraits with the beautiful smooth bokeh in the background, and you can just pull it out and take a photograph of your dogs running. The lens is fast enough to do that, and it just works well. The camera I want to talk about today is this one. This happens to be probably my favorite camera of most times. You know, when I'm traveling, the Fuji X100 is the camera that I take with me most often. So I have a Leica M9, but you know, that camera is so precious and so expensive and almost irreplaceable. So I'm always a little bit cautious when I'm traveling to shoot with that camera. The lenses are expensive, and it took me years and years of saving and trading to get it. So that only really comes out in special occasions. Isn't that sad? But this is the original Fuji X100. So it's not the F, it's not the V, it's not the T, it's not the S. This is the original Fuji X100. And I actually owned this camera twice, believe it or not. I bought it many years ago, and then in a rash decision sold it to a friend, and then some years later, when he was finished with it, I bought it back. So I've probably owned it on and off now, maybe for about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years. But this is the camera that goes with me. You can see I've got a half leather case on it. It also has a beautiful lens cap, which I've just taken off this morning. And then I actually have, I used to own a Leica X1, and this was the strap that came with it. So I keep the Leica X1 strap on here. I like it. It's light, and it's got a little bit of grip, and the very sort of understated red on it is quite nice. And then you can see that I've got one of these comfort shutter buttons on there. And it works absolutely marvelously. Now, for me, the favorite thing about the Leica, it feels like a Leica, by the way. It's one of the reasons why I love shooting it. But one of my favorite things about the Fuji X100 is the fact that it has this amazing hybrid viewfinder, and the ability to bring it up to the eye, to see exactly what you're going to get, and to shoot with it. But then, of course, it also has an electronic viewfinder on the back, and so you can see exactly what the shot is that you're going to get. Let's just have a look here. I've got it on macro mode, and there we go. It'll focus soon, and take your shot, and there it is. And of course, for those who like to chimp, you have that option, but I mostly leave the screen off and shoot it as if it's almost a film camera. So I shoot my 20 or 30 exposures, and then go back to my computer and see what they are. Of course, one of the other great things about these Fuji cameras is the color profiles, but this particular camera, perhaps one of the most special things is this beautiful Fuji lens. I mean, it's just an absolutely amazing lens. If I'm not mistaken, it is an f.2 at its lowest, f2 up to f16. So really an amazing lens. So the one thing you may not have known is that I actually have a coronavirus bush in my garden. I'm not sure what these are. These are some kind of pollen or fruit spore, and this beautiful tree in my front garden with these wonderful red leaves. When this one goes yellow and this one's red, they're absolutely fantastic. And so walking around with the Fuji 100, shooting a couple of photographs, I particularly like to do things up close. So getting right into the into the image there and shooting it. It just works absolutely brilliantly. So yeah, there's no excuse. You know, if you have a camera, you can find things to film, to shoot, to make photographs of in your home, in your garden, and it's about the process. It's about looking at things, looking at the light, the lines, and shooting them. Now, the one thing that this is not is it is not a sports camera. You're not going to be able to capture fast moving subjects with this. You might, if you put it on f/16, just be able to keep the exposure wide open and the distance quite wide, but generally it's not meant for sports. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be walking through my garden, shooting a few things. I'll put a couple of sample images into the video as we go along. But thanks for watching. You can see my other videos on YouTube at Dion Foster, Dion Foster on YouTube. Or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Digital Dion, or on my website, dionfoster.com, or on Facebook, Dion A. Foster. So thanks for watching. There are one or two other photography videos. There's a beautiful photo walk that I did about 2 years ago in Berlin with my Leica M9, which you might find interesting. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you're shooting and how you're managing to keep up your photography habit during lockdown. Maybe your restrictions are not as severe as ours in South Africa, and you're allowed to go out for a walk. We're not even allowed to go out for a run. Only allowed to go out if you have a medical emergency and to get your groceries and supplies. So thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you where you are. Are you keeping safe, and what are you doing? What are you shooting? What camera are you using, and what subject matter are you doing during COVID-19? Thanks for watching.